What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. As you can see, we're playing some farming simulator. We're on no man's land. Just getting some things started here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to hop in and see what we can buy as far as land. Now, I know that this is the spot of land that most people start out with and most people purchase right from the start. And in all honesty, um, it's going to be the spot of land that I start with simply because we've already got this field. We've got a location for our house when we do purchase the house because I'm probably just going to start with the little cabin because it's cheap and and it's just starting out. It just makes the most sense. Plus, we've got this little spot of water here, so if we do decide to do animals, which I do plan to do, um, I'm definitely planning on doing some cows and some sheep and probably some pigs. I don't know about chickens or horses just yet, simply because I want to do cows and things like that simply because they have manure, they make slurry, and that's things that we're going to be able to put back on our fields and we're going to be able to use it on our farm. And to me, that just makes the most sense. Well, I know horses, you can make a ton of money with those. Um, it just, to me, the fact that they don't put anything back into the farm, it makes it to where it's not something where I'm really interested in. Um, so definitely going to look at that in the future. So having this little spot of water here would be beneficial because I do know that the one trailer for water, you can actually get water from that. So that would be an option if I want to go that route. Maybe put some animals over here, and I'll be able to just fill it here and then run it up to wherever those animals are. Um, but again, it's still early. It's undecided as to exactly what I'm going to do, and I may even at some point ask your guys' opinion on some things. But let's go ahead and let's get in here and let's buy this spot of land, and that way we can get started. We get us a spot of land, and the next thing that we're going to need is we're going to need a tractor. Um, Now, when I'm buying a tractor, a couple of things that I like to look at. I want something that's going to be multifunctional, especially early on. I want it to be able to do a lot of things. And typically, I really like this little tractor simply because it's very versatile. It's powerful early on. It's relatively inexpensive. I know it is a mod, but the things that you can do with it, I really do like that. I like that you can have a front linkage. You can have the front loader attacher. The only thing that I don't like about it is the wheel setup because there's no thin tires for it. And early on, we know that that's something we're going to need, especially when we have to fertilize that second time and we have crops that are already up. We want to have those thin tires so we don't destroy our crops and in the process of fertilizing them. So I'm not going to go with that for that very reason. Plus, it's a little bit early on. I don't really think we're going to need that much power at the start. So we'll go ahead and we'll go into small tractors. Now, this is another tractor that's good to start out with. The only thing is, it's got two drawbacks for me. First thing is, there's no way to get that front attacher, nor can you get there's no front linkage, I should say, and you can't get the lift. So you can't use the big bag um, or anything like that. Which are two things that I really like. I like that front loader attachment, I should say, and I like having that that actual front linkage to where I can hook up different things that I may be using around the farm. And that's another reason why this little guy is one of the more popular tractors in the game. And that's simply because it's relatively inexpensive. I mean, it is 76,000, so it's quite a bit of money, especially starting out. But you can pretty much do everything that you need to do with it. It's got decent power. It's got decent speed at 31 miles per hour. It's one of the faster tractors. Um, So starting out early on, you'll be able to, get back and forth to the store relatively quickly. You won't be wasting time. And another thing that I like is you can go out, you can do the narrow tires. And then that way, once you have a field established, you can throw those on when it's time to fertilize that second time, and you won't have to worry about destroying your crop. So, I do like that. I like that it's, relatively, it's very customizable. And I'm going to go ahead and start out with this. I'm not going to do the narrow tires simply because um, I'm only going to use the narrow tires when I'm fertilizing that second time, or you know, if I'm spreading manure or something like that, and I've already got the crops already up through the ground. Um, which once we start out here, we'll be able to start out with this configuration, and what we'll essentially be able to do is we'll be able to, down the road, we will buy us a this little workshop. There's a workshop for no man's land specifically that I like to use, um, and we'll be able to do that all automatically. From the workshop, we won't have to worry about that, and it'll save us a little bit of money probably, and it'll just be done when we actually need it because we just don't need it at this point. And as you can see, I do got a lot of different mods in here, and it's simply because these are things that I plan on doing. I plan on, potentially at some point maybe doing the apple trees and things like that as a source of income. Um, you know, because I think that's a part of it. I may do some of these greenhouses just as some additional income, simply because it's smart. And I don't know if I'm going to do the trees or if I'm going to do these orchards. I do like the orchards, but again, I like the capability here of being able to essentially pick and choose, what trees I'm putting up, and then that way I do have kind of an option on which way we decide to go. Because I mean, at the end of the day, we may not want to do just apples and oranges. We may want to have a pear tree or maybe a peach tree or something. So we'll look at that, when the time comes. But that is definitely something that I do plan on doing as well, because no man's land, it's huge. We're going to have a lot of room, so it we're going to have a lot of different things that we can do down the road. Um, so with that, we've got our tractor. Now, a couple of things that we definitely going to need. We know that we're going to need a plow of some sort, so we'll go ahead and hop in and we'll look at that. Now, the plow that I enjoy using the most is this one right here, simply because it's so versatile. You can use it on the front or the back of your tractor, and especially when you're making new fields, I've found that using it on the front of the tractor, I get it much more a much more uniform field. It's still not perfect. I'm never going to be great at making fields, but it's definitely it looks much better, and it's much more pleasing on the eye if I do it on the front. And this does give me that option, so I always like to buy that. You can change the color if you want. To me, it really doesn't matter. From a cost standpoint, I would rather just save that money and put it in something else. And the red, if I lay it somewhere, um, and it's in a taller weeds or something like that, I can still easily find it. It's not difficult to locate. So we'll go ahead and we'll buy that. Now, another thing that you will need at some point is you're going to need this starting out regardless. You're going to need some sort of seeder. Um, and this is just to put the seeds down once you've got the field plowed. Now, the one I recommend going with is this guy starting out. It is a little bit pricey at 39,000, but with this, it does the seeds, plus it also it does the fertilizer for you on that initial one. So that is important. Having that capability to do two in one, it'll save you some time. And we're all about saving time on this, especially as we get further along and we do get animals and things. Um, we're going to be very busy, tending to those animals. And we're not going to want to have to worry about um, fertilizing that after we sow it. This will take care of both of those. And I mean, I know that we do have the option to hire a worker, but at the end of the day, a lot of times I like to do things myself because if you played this game any at all, you will find that workers they're not as precise as you may want them to be, especially if we're talking about a field that you've created. Now, on established fields, workers will do just fine, unless we're talking about sugarcane, which I have tried in the past, and the workers with sugarcane was just horrible. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I just prefer to do everything on my own, and we've got a lot of options here. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to need to get at some point. Um, we're just starting with these two, but at the end of the day, we're going to need to get a weeder. We'll probably end up needing to um, get something like this that that can spread herbicide, simply because if we do miss those weeds early on and they mature, and then the one of these will simply not get rid of them, so we'll have to use something like that. But I do like this one especially because down the road I do plan on essentially plowing everything around my home, and then planting grass. And this does give you that option for doing that if you choose to do that. Um, but it's just relatively inexpensive early on, and it'll do the trick. But I'm going to kind of hold off on doing that, and we'll go ahead and we'll get into some things here. Um, so let's go ahead and let's get over here to our tractor, and we'll get everything started. And once we get everything to the actual home, we'll start the process of getting that field and everything created. So one thing I do like to do, it doesn't do this, or it's not like this automatically. I do like to fold that up, just in case. I mean, you never really know. And let me just get this linked up, and we'll go ahead and we'll get this stuff to the farm, and we'll get that process going. While we're there, you may go ahead and find a spot for the house or whatever. But I do like no man's land. I mean, it it's so open. I mean, I like the fact that there's just so much. Cause you could pretty much do this map the way that you want to do it. The one thing that I don't like though is in that there are not as many sell points as you may find on some of the other maps. Um, so it's one of those things you just kind of have to pick and choose. Um, so yeah, I mean that's kind of what we're going to start with here. We've got a good tractor. We've got the plow, and we've got the seeder. Now, when we get to our actual land, we're going to need to do something. And oh, we're getting snow. That's interesting. But we're going to be plowing in the snow, I guess. Hopefully, we'll see how that works out. But anyway, when we get here, we'll put down some things, and because we're going to need a spot for. I want fertilizer. I want to be able to get my seeds and everything here, and I don't want to have to every time I need seed or fertilizer. I don't want to have to go all the way to the store, and it's just so far away um, that it's just not something that I want to do. So let's go ahead and let's hop out of here. And first thing we're going to do is just kind of figure some things out. Um, First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here, just where our house is normally. I'm just going to basically go in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna buy the actual house here. I'm going to just go with this one. It isn't much, but it's enough for what we're going to do. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put that back here where it normally sits. Just try to get it as close to perfect as close to perfect as possible. It may not be 100%, but that's all right with me. It's kind of out of the way. If we're working in this field, it's still far enough back to where we can turn the tractors and things. Now, the next thing that I like to do, I know some people they like to put the actual shed here in this big open area. What I like to do though is instead of the shed, I would like to just go ahead and put my little workshop here. Because in all honesty, I'm not one of these people that I don't typically use the shed. If I'm honest, um, and I know that that's probably something that some people may frown upon, but it's something that I just don't do. I usually have a design or a designated place for my tools, and then that's where I leave them. But I just don't put them in the shed. Uh, and it's a game. I mean, and I get that sometimes some people like to play it as realistic as possible. Um, but for me, I'll just leave them, maybe sitting around here somewhere or something like that, and that's fine with me. It's just what I like to do, and everybody likes to play the game differently. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and hop in here, and I'm going to go ahead and get this started. I'm going to go ahead and take this over here, and just to kind of get it out of the way for now, I'm going to go ahead and just pop that off there. And then I'm going to go ahead and come around and I'm going to go ahead and just plow this up if it'll allow me to. Because I'm still relatively new to seasons. I haven't played seasons a whole lot. Um, but I did see it, and with what I've read about it, in all honesty, I've not played Farming Simulator all that much. But yeah, I read up on it, and it sounded interesting. I like the concept of having seasons, especially when we do animals. That's going to be really interesting. I'm going to enjoy that, I think. Um, so yeah, I mean it's just going to be one of those things that adds a little bit more realism to it, and it really makes that that crop, getting that crop in the ground and things like that. It's going to make that very important, uh, and it's just you're really going to have to effectively work to make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do to get your fields in order. And it's relatively early on. We just got the one, so it's not a big deal. But I do plan on maybe expanding on that in this first season, and that way we can at least get as much income as possible um, from you know from what we have from our property, because we don't have animals starting out, and it's going to be a little bit before we get animals. And even once we get animals in in seasons, you know the animals do not produce right away. So it's going to take they'll produce manure and slurry, but cows, they're not going to produce milk until you know probably one season is went by. So we're going to have to take that into consideration, and we're going to have to look at some things to make money early on and to get things going with that. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, we're just basically just going to just plow this field, get it ready to go, and then we'll plop some other things, and we'll go from there. But this is going to be something to where you know I'm going to ask your guys' opinions on things, and we're going to build it from there, and see what you guys think. I know that it's relatively late in Farming Simulator's life. I know that Farming Simulator 22 is getting ready to launch, and I'm kind of excited about that because I really do. I've enjoyed playing this game, um, because it's a fun game to play. But the thing is, whereas some of the other games, uh, it just requires so much focus. I mean, I have a stepson, and it's just it's really hard sometimes for me to focus and play some of those other games that I do enjoy playing, like Call of Duty and things like that. Um, so this kind of gives me the ability to where I can still do my gaming, play something that I enjoy playing, and if something happens in the background and I have to, be AFK for a moment, it's not a big deal, because with multiplayer games and things like that, that's a huge problem. Um, because you don't want to be that guy that just abandons your team, but at the same time, you don't want to walk away from your keyboard, or in my case, I don't want to set my controller down and then just walk away, and tend to whatever problems are going on. But yeah, I mean, this game, it's a little bit more relaxed in that regard, and it's fun. At the same time, it's still fun. It kind of reminds me, in a way. I mean, it's just more hands-on than SimCity. But when I was younger, I really enjoyed playing SimCity. And while not all maps are like that, especially this map, you kind of have control over where everything's going to be, except for the store. You can put sell points and things like that, so you can really customize it and make it your own. Um, so I do enjoy that. That's a great aspect of it. And there are other maps that allow you to do that. And I do plan on playing those some with you guys. Um, I know that I think there's one Wilhelmina Forest, and I did play that for about 5 or 6 minutes, and it does look like it's going to be fun. The problem is it requires a lot of forestry work, and me playing on the PlayStation on console, I don't get the nifty forestry equipment. I think it's FDR equipment that you can get on the computer. I don't have that on a console, so the forestry equipment that we do have, even with mods, it's not quite as good or on par with what you can get on the PC, which it is what it is on that. But it just looks like, from what I've seen, the uh, the equipment that you get for forestry on the PC is much better than the forestry equipment that we can get on the console. So I do like that. And in all honesty, I really I would love to play um, on the PC, but I'm a console gamer, guys. I mean, I started out with the Nintendo way back when, um, and it's what I'm used to. I've tried playing um, games on the PC, and it's one of those things where the muscle memory of having a controller, um, it's just one of those things to where it's so hard for me to get out of that habit. And I know with time that would probably change. It's just it's so frustrating with some games to just kind of you just can't switch it up like that on the fly, and then you end up getting frustrated, and it just takes the enjoyment out of it. So there are some drawbacks to playing on a console, and I get that. But it's what I'm used to, and it's so at the end of the day, it's what I get enjoyment from. Um, and while there are some games on the PC like SimCity that I can enjoy, it's the more laid back games, and um, I don't know. I mean, the gaming PC that I have now, its storage is very limited, and I have this PlayStation 4, so I figured why not just get the game on PlayStation 4, try it out, and I did, and I really enjoyed it. And it's really a fun game, and this is something that I started doing, as far as like YouTube videos. with gaming, some years back, the problem was I didn't really have a PC that was capable of it at the time. And so the actual game itself probably did not look all that great, and it wasn't enjoyable for me. While I enjoyed playing the games, it just I don't know. I wanted if I was putting something out there for someone to enjoy, for someone to watch, I wanted to be at least decent quality. Um, so with that, I just wasn't able to do that at the time. And now with consoles and a capture card and a decent PC, I'm able to do that. And because of the enjoyment that I got from it before, I decided, hey, I'll try it again. And so here we are. We've got this field pretty much done, and yeah, we're going to go with you know we're going to go from there, guys. I mean, I would like to hear your guys' input, especially down the road. I know right now I'm not really going to have anyone subscribe to the channel to really do that. But hey, if this is something that you enjoy, if you enjoy Farming Simulator, and down the road you may have some ideas, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and leave a like, because uh, or leave a comment. Let me know what you would like to see down the road, because like I said, this is going to be something that I am going to do down the road. I'm going to take subscribers and people that comment on my videos. I'm going to take what they're telling me into consideration, and look at that, and we'll kind of go from there, as to what where we go with this with this gameplay, because there's just so many things that you can do on Farming Simulator, and with the mods and things, and the guys that have done the mods, that's really awesome. I mean, it's just amazing the things that people have added in. And when I say guys, I mean, yeah, I mean just everyone that's done, guys and gals both. But yeah, it's just it's one of those things that it really makes the game very customizable, and so down the road, I would love to get your guys' feedback and input as to where this gameplay goes, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I mean, that's going to pretty much do it here for this little introduction as to what we're doing. We got the field plowed. We got our first piece of equipment, and we got a couple of things to do, get some work done on the farm. So with that, we've got us a house now too, and a little shed that a little work area that we can customize our old fence. So we'll just kind of leave it at that, and in the in the next episode, there's going to be other upgrades and things to come, definitely. So yeah, if you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and let me know down in the comments below, what you would like to see me do in the future with this if we haven't done it already. It's certainly something that we'll look at, and we'll go from there. So I appreciate taking the time to watch my videos today, guys, and you have a wonderful rest of your day.